Megadad's Checkpoint is a mature-rated podcast for mega grown-ups only and brought to you by the new candy Sweet Babies, guaranteed to make grown man children cry. Welcome to Megadad's Checkpoint, the apparently quarterly show, but that's that's neither here nor there, and it's 100% due to the fact that I'll explain why when we get to what we've been playing, because I have succumbed to the will of our Chinese masters. I'll just say that much. But we have got some great panelists on the show this time, returning for, I believe, the 74th time, I think? 74th, 75th? I believe so. Yeah. He's been doing this since he was a wee child. That is the great Hypercaster. How's it going, sir?
I am awesome. This is good. You see the asshats who are on Megadad's Live, the first podcast, like, they don't really care about the listeners, okay? They like discard them. They just do their thing. They don't sign autographs when they see fans in public. But Checkpoint, where you just literally are all about the people. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
you're about the people.
Before I was an official Megadad, I was just a fan. I was a mega fan, as it were.
Yeah.
And I asked for an autograph from Adam, and he punched me. So, I mean, he was Jack Nicholson before Jack Nicholson.
This podcast is by the fans, for the fans. I couldn't be happier to be here on Checkpoint, checking in on all the Megadad's fans. I appreciate you.
Yes, and the fans demanded we do one show in 3 months. So that's how we listen. That's how we listen. We also have a special guest, and I would like to think, given what I know about him already and just in the conversations that we've had, this will not be his last time on the show. The fabulous streamer MinnesotaMat. Welcome, sir.
Hello. Thank you. It's nice to have. I'm looking forward to talking some games here, getting a little bit of caffeine in me, and bear with me this a little bit. This is my first time ever, bud, man.
I know. I'm
talking about a little of the Studhaven. I'm looking forward to it.
We're taking someone's podcast virginity right now.
Definitely.
Live on the internet.
Yet, but be gentle.
In that chat pop. Is it too early for plugs? Can you tell us where you stream?
Oh, I mean, is it too early? You guys gotta tell me.
you plug away.
I try not to hijack.
I don't like the transition from taking his cherry to talking about plugs like right away. But but beyond that, no, go ahead. Yeah, MinnesotaMat. Tell the people where they can find you once they're done with this show.
Twitch, MinnesotaMat on Twitch is where you can find me. I've been doing it for about a year. I'm surprised anybody wanted to watch an old man play video games, but apparently there's a little bit of a market for it. So I'm enjoying it. It's been about a year. Got a little over 1,000 followers. So we'll take it.
Hey, and it's MinnesotaMat with one T if you're looking for it. And we'll put links in the show notes as well for people.
Just like a format.
But we're all about old guys playing video games. That's basically why this site exists. So
yeah, that's why I wanted to come on. I saw the name. I was like, yeah,
we got to do it. So, as always with this show, we start with a big question. And as has been kind of the theme for the last few shows, this big question was inspired by a meme that I saw. And the meme was about movies originally, but I think it applies to video games, where they were talking about that they shouldn't remake good movies. They should remake bad movies that had potential but just didn't see it through, either because for whatever reason, maybe the actors weren't right or whatever. But there you could see the potential in there, and so it's like remake those movies. Now I wanted to apply that logic to video games because we are in this world of remasters and remakes and all of these things. But it's always The Last of Us. It's the stuff that doesn't need to be remastered that everyone still remembers.
Yeah. So
for you guys, what is that bad game, or maybe not even a bad game, but just one that's kind of forgotten that you think needs to come back in either a remake or a remaster? Because I think if we, and I don't want to steal anyone's answer here, but like if someone says E.T., I don't know if remastering is going to help that. you know.
Yeah.
although like
a remake or remaster.
well, either one. You can answer it however you want. Although I would love to see like an ET with no gameplay changes at all, but like super like ray traced graphics and just like ridiculous. Like get the
I hope it's free.
get the Far Cry guys on this, and but change nothing about the gameplay, and I'm sold. I will buy that. But we're gonna let the guests go. Go ahead.
What if ET succeeds though, and they do like a God of War reboot where it's like complete success? They reintroduce the
Super
character,
serious.
make him humanized, relatable, and like people are just brought to tears. If an ET like wins Game of the Year, it's like I can't believe they pulled it off. Like that would be that would be the miracle.
If
right?
that
Vitalizes Reese's Pieces, and
if that happens, first off, Reese's Pieces never went away. Okay.
True, but hey, they could be number one again.
They could. But if that does happen, I want 5%. That's all I'm saying. Because I just came up with it right now. We're gonna let the guest go first on this one because he said he was having problems with it, and I like making people uncomfortable live on mic.
Oh, dang.
So Matt,
as in real life,
yes.
No pressure.
No pressure.
If we're thinking I'm thinking more like remakes, some of the remasters right now, and I guess I go back to games like Spore, where in my head I built built up more in my head. You remember they were advertising it everywhere. You could do this, and in theory, I think a game like that where you do concrete different game types would be really cool. Or I also go to Anthem. I'm a BioWare junkie, and Anthem. And after they got rid of a lot of those people, there was a skeleton there, but nothing else. And I feel like they could have had if they had the old BioWare magic with it. Those are the ones initially I go to off the top of my head. Or we can just go to Echo the Dolphin 2 back in the day. I don't know how far back we're going. I've been gaming for a very long time.
We can go way back. And Echo the Dolphin is a good choice, and I'm honestly shocked that no one has tried to pick that up again.
I mean, who doesn't want to play as a dolphin? I mean, I'm not sure I quite understand the gameplay. I might have to go back and play it again. But like, there was I remember some ridiculous games when I was playing. I think there's some McDonald's game too. I don't even remember. There's.
I've only played Echo the Dolphin in a Funko Land. Which is what for people outside of certain areas, that is what GameStop became. What originally a place called Funko Land. So I've only ever played it in like 5-minute bursts. So I have even less idea of what the hell you do in Echo the Dolphin. But I mean
I know
that could be amazing actually, like a proper. Even if you kept it 2D, even if it was just like a remaster, but it was just really beautiful graphics, because they
did Stray, right? Why not a dolphin?
That was yeah, and I mean, and that was a gorgeous looking game even in the Genesis era. Like for Genesis, that was a great looking game. So it's like you could really do some pretty stuff with that. I like that.
Okay. When I'm really bored, I play the Nintendo Online like emulator thing that they have with that online subscription. And in the Sega collection, they do have Echo the Dolphin there. I played and my wife was like, "Oh, like I remember that game." I'm like, "All right, let's try it." It's nostalgic, but it's god awful. I mean, there's a lot there. It has bones. I would say it has some bones, but like I kept asking myself, like, what am I doing and why? And like, why are these controls terrible? But it's cool. I mean, it's a good game to a jumping off point. So Echo the Dolphin, I could see it making a big comeback.
Echo the Dolphin VR. I think that's what we need to do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
First person dolphin.
And you have to scream. You have to scream. Like that's how you do the little bubble. Yeah.
Anthem was good. Anthem was really good. Like the way that the weapons felt, and then the flight mechanics. I mean, everyone agreed who played it that it had a good foundation and the gameplay was decent. It's just, one of those games that just couldn't find a good story progression. It couldn't, like, it basically fell apart after the first couple hours, and that's a shame. But those are good choices. It
felt really rushed to be really, really rushed, especially coming from former BioWare. Like I said, I was big into Mass Effect and those games. And
I forgot it was BioWare until you said it.
Well, I was thinking about that because that was
it's kind of like their B team. Well, no, they moved their Mass Effect team to them, if I remember correctly. And it's this.
Well, I was thinking about that, and one answer that I had originally, but I've since kind of changed it, was Andromeda, and it's kind of the same bit where it's like the bones are there, but it's like because of all the corporate nonsense that happened behind the scenes, and I'm sure the same thing with Anthem too.
Yeah,
it's just like you kind of effed yourself up, and I also think if both of those games had come out. Or either of those games had come out from someone other than BioWare, I think they would have not gotten the hate that they did.
Yeah.
But that is what it is. Tony, what about you, man?
I'm trying to think of something that was like legit bad, but the closest that I thought of was Road Rash. Remember Road Rash?
I remember that game. I love that game. Is that the one with you were on the motor? No, you were on the cars. Or was that Skitchen? There was
on
a couple.
Bike, and you're on a bike, and I guess you were in like kind of a gang or something.
Yeah,
but you would fight
people
with chains, and you'd like knock people like to the left and the right of you. I remember it being a lot. It was like fun, and I think people who played it had fun with it. But looking back, I think the reality is that we had a lot more fun with it than it had than it actually was. So I think something like that would be cool. If I'm not mistaken, somebody did make a spiritual successor, but it's a miracle that it ever like worked as a game, that you're just on a bike and like the whole point was just knock other people off. It was just like, it was wild. Google it if you're not familiar, but if you played it, it was decent. If somebody could do something like that again, I think that would be good. They never really made a good Twisted Metal. Black was the last good one.
Yeah.
But that deserved a remake, and it was like gonna be rebooted, but then they canceled it or something like that. So that's my best answer off the top of my head as far as like a bad game that could probably deserve a new coat of paint or something like that.
So
anything I choose would probably flop anyway.
Oh, we're not here for good ideas. We're just,
I play the crap out of it. Even it inspired spin-offs. There was a game called Skitchen.
Yeah.
That was just like Road Rash. You hung onto the back of cars.
You're rollerbladers.
Rollerblades, and you beat people
Are
with
you
pipes.
serious?
I remember that. That's another.
Serious.
That was another one I played a lot in Funko Land. It was like it was Echo the Dolphin, Skitchen, and Clay Fighter were like the three big ones that we would always play in Funko Land back in the day. There is actually a free Road Rash available for download on PC right now.
Really?
Is it like the old school one?
Like the old school one, yes.
Oh, I might have to try it. That's probably still simplistic.
If you just Google Road Rash, it will. Believe me, it will show up. So there you go.
Skitchen looks fake. Oh my god!
It does. Oh,
this
it's so crazy. 90s.
It's very real. I played a lot of it.
Yes.
Very real.
Skitchen.
It's like an April Fool's joke.
Yes.
Seriously.
Skitchen is absolutely a 90s just elemental. Like it was just like if you call if the 90s themselves congealed into a video game, that would be one of them.
Yep. It was a game.
It was, yes. That is a game that exists. That is absolutely.
It got good reviews. Oh my god!
It was fun, but it was like there's no way you'd get away with it though, because the whole premise of the game was, it's kind of like the same nonsense that we get when there's like a graffiti game or something like that, where it's like it's that weird middle ground of if you do a low stakes crime game, like the GTA gets away with it just because it's such a parody. But like if you do those kind of games where there's crime, but it's not like a bad crime, or it's like people like freak out about that for some reason. I don't understand it, but I gave up on understanding people a while ago.
Fun fact: Skitchen was Blockbuster Video's 5th highest renting game during the month of August 1997.
There you go. Congrats to Skitchen.
Wow, I thought it was even older than that.
Do with that information what you will.
So for my answer, I actually got and this is gonna be slightly obscure game, but it was a game called Normality. And it was a PC game. I think it was only PC game, but the big kind of it had two big claims to fame. it was one. The main character was voiced by Corey Feldman. So
Okay.
I mean that in and of itself is worthy of note. But also it was the first like click adventure, like point and click adventure game done in a 3D engine.
Okay, so like King's Quest type. You remember the old King's
Yes,
Quest games?
exactly.
Like
Like,
that, but
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But it was
I'm looking at the pictures of
yeah. And it was a very odd little game, as one would expect. But yeah, because it's all about you are you are weirdo in this kind of authoritarian, boring world, and you're trying to basically create chaos and all that stuff. The game wasn't great, but it was one of those where there's that era in the 90s especially where there was a lot more experimentation, like in like major titles. Like now, all the experimentation stuff is done like on the indies and that stuff. This was like, we don't know what we have, but we've got this 3D engine. Let's just put out this game. And what is Corey Feldman doing right now? But it was I was such a fan of all of the kind of remasters and remakes of all the point and clicks, like those Sierra games and the Monkey Islands and all of those. And I would love to just get some of those more obscure ones out there. I think would be fun. And again, just get Corey Feldman to do it.
You're totally right about the older games and people just experimenting. Do you remember Toe Jam and Earl?
Oh, I love
It's a fever dream. Like, what is happening with these older games and premise just being completely out of left field, and somehow just kind of like working? People made games off the craziest stuff, like insane.
There was, I want to say there was a Toe Jam and Earl Kickstarter a couple of years ago where they were trying to do
another one.
Yeah, I was gonna say they tried to do another one.
I remember the name. I actually have it. Just for nostalgia's sake, because I remember when I was a kid playing that.
Yeah. I mean,
I remember not liking the second one. They had like Panic on Funkatron or something like that. I think it was called.
That sounds right. Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna go that route, I think we need to remake Boogerman. So I mean, you just really get the high class material. See, I want the God of War treatment for Boogerman. We talked about Echo the Dolphin, but no, give me my God of War of Boogerman, and I'm down.
Best graphics and motion capture you can get.
That'd be you can really see the I'm not even gonna finish that sentence because this is a family show. All right, so we've had a little bit of time since the last show, and we've been playing some stuff. I've only been playing one thing. It's consumed my life, and I'm just gonna go first just because like I said, I've only played one thing, and it'll be quick. So right at the very end of last year, I started playing Genshin Impact. And about a week or two into that, I lost my job. And so then I became a semi-professional Genshin Impact player because I had nothing else to do. And so I've just blasted through. I don't know how much I trust the PS5 hour count, but it says I have 400 hours. But I don't know if that because it's an online game. I don't know how it tracks the when you suspend. When you just go to the menu. I don't know if it counts as me still being in the game. So I don't know how much I can do that. I've played through I'm on the third kind of major area in the game, and there's 4 right now. Well, no, I let me correct myself here. I'm on the 4th major area because there's 5, so I'm like I'm very deep into it. Like I've played it a lot, but I don't know what it was. I think it just. I mean, some of it was just that I had a whole lot of free time suddenly, but also it was the right combination of that action RPG third person kind of just click and hit buttons and things die kind of game, but also like I enjoyed the puzzles. I enjoyed it's so funny to look at this because you can see this is clearly stolen from Legend of Zelda, or this is clearly taken from this, or, like you can see there's so many different systems and so many different kind of bits of gameplay in there that are so obviously taken from major games, and they just kind of, we're just going to throw it all into this big stew, and you're going to enjoy it. It's got the gotcha element that I am such a sucker for. This is why I don't live in Vegas. It's I'm a degenerate gambler as it is. I have not spent any real money on this, and I have no plan to.
Wow.
I have no plan to. I do have a weird, and I've played a bunch of these gotcha games and these kind of pay to win different things over the years, and I do take a weird point of pride in always trying to be free to play, and just trying to be as good as I can at it within that realm, and I don't know why. I think some of it is the same kind of hipster aspect to it, where it's like, well, I'm not like these sick sad individuals that spend all this money, although we love all those sick sad individuals because they help pay for.
We love all of you.
We love all of you, but they help pay for freeloaders like myself. So I mean, I acknowledge that.
Yeah, geek updates. So yeah.
Yeah, and I can see myself getting to the point of, maybe putting a little bit of money down, and not necessarily for, like, they're very smart in how they do this, as long in terms of, like, there's no paid missions, there's no paid like content, it's just characters, but you can only ever have 4 characters at a time kind of in your group, and so it's more just like, how much do you care about the min-maxing element and the team building element, and how much, because one of the complaints that I've heard about this game is that there's not much of an end game element to it, because it comes down to just optimizing your team for the specific area, but you don't need to do that for the story, and you don't need to do that for the majority of the puzzles, and you don't need to do that for probably 95% of the actual content. And so for a guy like me that I don't care about min-maxing, I don't care about making sure that I've got the most finely tuned whatever, there's a lot to like there, and it's the voice acting is really good. The sound design is bonkers at times, where it will be really, really good. And some of the production values in this, like there was just the big yearly event a little while ago, for the Lunar New Year, and the end cutscene for this free annual event that they do, the end cutscene for that storyline was as good as just about any AAA cutscene I've seen in the last 5-6 years. Like it was
Sweet.
so well put together, and the writing is really interesting, and it's always fun to compare the voice acting with the subtitles, because like they will change they will change words, and it's like, it's never a big thing. It's never like, you're never radically changing the meaning of what's going on, but just the fact that they change, like, well, why was that decision made? And like, who's ever the voice director for this, like, clearly cares about getting good performances, but doesn't care about consistency. Or like there's a mission I just did where this person is talking through a door, like she's inside a house and she's talking to the characters through a door, but they made no effort to like make it sound like she wasn't just standing right next to them. and it was like there's weird little like lazy bits in there, but I'm enjoying the hell out of it. It's full of anime nonsense. It's a lot. If you're a fan of just dumb anime tropes, this has got a lot of them, and it's so fun to, like, all of the different areas are very clearly based on a specific culture. So like the starter area is very much kind of medieval Germany kind of, and then it moves to China, and then it goes to Japan, and then this area this area that I'm in now is kind of a mix of India and Egypt and kind of everything in between those two. And then
That's
kind of cool.
And then the last area that they just put out, I think it was late last year, is essentially like steampunk France, and Yeah, and then there's like 2 more nations that have to be revealed. One, I think they're probably going to go like an Aztec route, and then the last one will be kind of the guys that are set up for the big bads are very clearly coded as Russians, and so so they're going to go that route for that one. So it's so, I mean, in so many ways it is like, what if we gave a 13-year-old $20 billion to make a game? And this is what comes out. But I'm enjoying it, and you know, I'm sure I'll have lots more to talk about later. But that's my life now, is really what it is.
It's a very high quality game. Like, I've played it. It has beautiful, like a beautiful overworld, but also the combat is what draws me in. Like, everything's flashy, bombastic. Like, you talk about how it takes things from other games. The gameplay's super solid, and when you do the elemental attacks that synergize with each other, like, I'm a sucker for that. So when you like set something on fire and then you electrocute it, and like you like when you combine the elements to like do extra damage and stuff, I love that. I love it, and
Everything
it's
synergizes real well.
Yeah, like there's like a chart that says, oh, if you start off with fire and then you do the like purple lightning or whatever it is, like it'll like something will happen. And it's like Breath of the Wild, where if you set grass on fire, like there'll be like an updraft and you can like go on your glider and like ride the wind a little bit. And the traversal like is all about like, it's very much like climbing, like in Tears of the Kingdom, and like it's really cool. And there's a lot to the game, and I'm glad you're having a good time with it. If this was playable on Steam Deck, it would be my go-to. But they have like an anti-cheat or something going on where it's like not. Yeah, I think there's workarounds, but they don't recommend it. So it's not on my handheld device, so that's really what's keeping me back. I could play it on my iPhone, but it's just like, and I
honestly don't
have a controller.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how people could play this on mobile. Like, so the company that puts this the company that puts this out, it's called Hoyoverse.
Hoyoverse?
Yeah, they've got a bunch of games, and they're all sort of connected story-wise, which is also like, just, it sticks in my brain because I'm like, I don't have enough hours awake to play all these games enough to see all the connections, but like there's that lore nerd in me that just loves that shit. But I don't know how you could play this game mobile. There are other games. The other big one is Honkai Star Rail. And
yeah, I tried that one.
Yeah, that's turn-based combat, so like that makes sense on a mobile. I played that. I played that a little bit. I will never get into the on-screen control stuff with mobile games, and there's too much movement that you had to do, even though it wasn't as like precise as it would need to be with Genshin. But I don't know how the hell you'd play Genshin mobile. It's too fast, and just the controller doing the on-screen controller just be madness. But that is, I'm sure someone figured it out. I don't know. So
I'm sure lots of people. Yeah, but I'm with you there. I can't do half the mobile games that are also on PC or things. I just have such a hard time with them because I'm like, well, I could just play them on PC or like you said, Steam Deck. We have a Steam Deck as well. I'm like, well, if it works good on my Steam Deck or something, that's kind of maybe it's the old man mentality of me, but I kind of just want that something tactile, or like I can feel my hand and sit down. A little bit bigger, a little bit cut. Joysticks are always a plus.
Absolutely. So we're gonna move on here. I want to talk we're gonna talk Helldivers.
Yeah,
because I think roughly,
it's an amazing game.
Roughly a third of the internet is talking about Helldivers right now. If you go on Reddit, it's literally like every third post. But I want to talk about Sunhaven a little bit as well.
Yeah,
because Matt introduced me to this game. And as I told him, they don't know it yet, but my kids hate Matt because now they're never going to see their father.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm brand new to the game. I've only been playing it here for a couple of weeks, but it's very much, if you like Stardew Valley, it's like this company said, oh, Stardew Valley did well, but we're going to try to like streamline everything and add more to it. So if you're into that farming, mining, it's kind of been me and my wife's.
Because it's multiplayer. I mean, it's made for multiplayer.
Yeah, it's multiplayer out the gate. It was kind of nice because I know Stardew added multiplayer after the fact, which is wonderful because there's a one-man developing team. and I'm looking forward to his next game as well. But Sunhaven is it's if you like those games so far, it's been a blast. It seems like it's definitely heavily Stardew inspired, and they've streamlined some things and expanded on some things, like owning pets, or they have more townspeople, bigger cities, more. It's very much fun. I wish I could explain more to it, but I think I'm maybe about 5 hours in. And it almost feels overwhelming at times if there's so many quests and there's so many townspeople. I'm like, oh wait, slow down, stop talking to me, stop telling me to get these things. But it's been a lot of fun.
Yes, and it looks like it came out early last year, and they've definitely not skimped on the DLC packs. Looking at their Steam page, there's a lot of stuff you can snap onto it. Which is fine. I have no problem with that.
It seems to be mostly like cosmetics when they're trying to.
It, yeah. Which people take people hate on microtransactions and things like that, but like cosmetic stuff, I can't care about that. I can't get upset about that. Is what I should say. It is like,
as long as there's enough in the core game,
exactly.
I don't feel slighted, right?
Exactly.
Like if I have enough options or enough thing to buy or unlock in the regular game, it's like okay.
And
I feel like they're having fun with this game. Like it has such a vibrant color palette and style to it, and like they're just melding like a whole bunch of stuff. The characters have like a unique look to them. The enemies and all that look fun, like larger than life.
Yeah.
Like I guess these are bosses and stuff. This looks great. It looks good.
Yeah, it's interesting too because they do give you you get to choose what different characters. Like you could be a water elemental instead of just like a human, or you could be like a demon or an angel. They have like small little bonuses to help you farm or do stuff. Nothing crazy, but it kind of adds to like the uniqueness, I guess, or little. It's definitely a laid back game for me. I play a lot of competitive games, so this is kind of a nice hey, let's just chill and farm, and it's a nice change of pace, is what I would say.
I gotta add this to my wish list. This looks fun.
And I'm always looking for games like this.
It says that there's like some combat to it, so you do have like the town farming aspect, but you do fight things as well.
Yeah, have you played Stardew? It so far feels kind of similar to where you'll have little creatures that you go out, or you go into a mine and you'll have to so far I've only unlocked a sword, or they have a crossbow you can shoot. So it's kind of basic-esque like Stardew, but it does, and I don't know how much more it unlocks. But it also looks like they have spells too, because I just unlocked a fireball spell. I haven't said anything on fire yet, but I'm looking forward to trying. So we'll have to see.
That's cool. Yeah, I think that this game is gonna find a good audience. Like it has very positive reviews on Steam. So
although my favorite review so far is from a no doubt erudite young person named Squid Squirt. But just the economy in Sunhaven is so effed up that root beer is one of the most expensive items in the game. Developers either have no idea what they're doing, or they understand that root beer is divine nectar that stands above all other consumables. So this is an opinion I can get behind. So
I'm totally behind.
I'm all for that.
Current.
Yeah, I'm good. I like it being the currency. That'd be even better. That's just the logical progression from Fallout, where it's the actual soda.
But no, we've been looking for another, because me and my wife is one of the few games we have in common. She likes very different games than me, and it's like, oh, I love Stardew. So this is kind of, we're like, oh, and it's right up my alley. So it's kind of nice.
Did you ever play Farm Together?
Farming, I have not. I grew up playing the Harvest Moons and stuff, but those are a lot older. But I have not done Farm Together.
I remember Farm Together was the first real multiplayer farming game. I think it was an Xbox only. I could be wrong. I never played it because my wife hates games, so I'm never gonna get to play with her. But I've heard good things about that one too. But this one it's definitely, if you're more into the fantasy stuff, this is you got cat girls and demons and elementals and all that kind of stuff.
Well, pretty much she's more into the 2D aspect, right?
Sure.
So we play Diablo together occasionally, things like that. But she struggles a little bit more when it becomes a more complicated 3-dimensional scheme. So it's this is up her alley. We just downloaded we haven't played it yet. I believe it's called, I'm gonna butcher the name, but Last Epoch, for kind of.
Okay,
I don't know. It's like a Diablo-esque type game.
Yeah.
We haven't got to that yet, but
Nice. Let's
But
talk.
other games I play, like Helldivers and Rocket League, and so she will never touch those. She doesn't have the patience to learn them. There'd be lots of expletives flying left and right from her if we were playing Helldivers together.
Let's go right into Helldivers. This is one of those games where the more I read about it, I'm like, this is the game for me. Like, this is the game that I've wanted to exist for a long time. I love the idea of the overworld and the, where you play multiplayer games, like single games, and they have a bigger effect on the larger universe. Like, I love that idea. I love the idea of a game master kind of person that is monitoring the campaign in the company and has got plans and all this. Like, I love that idea. And the fact that it's basically a knockoff Starship Troopers makes it all the better for me. But both Tony and Matt are playing this game.
Yep.
So Matt, what made you like jump in? Were you like a Helldivers 1 fan, or did you like get on the bandwagon when you saw it getting hot? And do you stream this?
I don't stream this very much. I do play it though. I play it off stream. So this is I usually have a go-to game off stream, and this is Helldivers, and I have my mainstream game, which is Rocket League. I stream sports mostly, but the other ones kind of suck besides Rocket League. But we won't get into that. But Helldivers, I played the first one, and I absolutely adored it. It was more of a top-down gameplay, but and then 2, I didn't even know 2 was coming out, and maybe I just wasn't paying attention. And I love it. I love it because the biggest thing I think, which I love, is that it's a PvE game. So it's group with your friends and work together. I feel like everything's nowadays is PvP, competition, and it's nice to see a PvE game where you have to work for a common goal and have fun while you're doing it, succeed. And I hope that pushes more squad or co-op based games for the forefront, because it gets, when all you are, I don't know if you guys play them or not, but it gets a little old when everything is battle royale or everything is PvP. And I play a lot of them, so I get it, but it's like, I'm appreciating that this is kind of taking over, and I hope it keeps taking over.
Yeah, I'm like you. I do play a lot of like FPS, a lot of battle royale. I was playing Apex for the longest time. I enjoy Fortnite a lot. There's something about the rush of winning a battle royale, but you're right. It's time for something new sometimes, and co-op experiences are why I still play games today. I think that just being able to connect with other people and have that shared experience, group up with buddies, or just even talking about the game where I've played it and you play it, and we just like, compare notes and just gush about it. Like that is one of the best parts of gaming, in my opinion. I had a friend on that was talking with me about Helldivers from the first one, and we did some content together for Megadads, and he was just singing the game's praises since the first one came out. So it was on my radar only because he kept talking about the first one. So when the second one came around, I'm like, all right, I have to jump in on this. And then sure enough, then it got good reviews. So I was in from the beginning and didn't realize it was going to blow up the way it did. And I'm loving it. I'm loving the co-op aspect of it. I'm loving everything about it.
It's immensely, it's fun. Like I said, it's just fun. It's the scenes. Even if you push the difficulty higher, it's hilarious fun. Like who would have thought that accidentally, destroying or killing your buddy with like turret, it turns it's just chaotic fun. And I don't even know if like streaming it really conveys how chaotic and fun it is. I almost feel like you have to play it to really see it with Helldivers. And I kind of bought it. I saw it came out day one. I'm like, oh, they made a second one. Well, yeah, I'm buying it. And I had no idea that this would blow up either as well. I'm like, I just bought it sheerly because I remembered the first game and playing that for months upon months. And I really do hope that this pushes that co-op-esque forward. Kind of like how you had like, Fortnite blew up, and Fortnite and PUBG and those, they blew up all the battle royales. Hopefully this blows up co-ops, because it'd be nice to have games where you can work for a common goal.
Yeah, it's great. You have not actually tried it then yet, right, Evan?
I have not. No, originally I thought it was a free to play, and then I'm like, oh wait, I have to pay money. Damn.
I think it's a discount title, like $40.
Yeah, I think it's cheap, and I'll probably end up picking it up at some point. Knowing me, I'll pick it up right as it starts to get lame for everyone, and it'll die shortly after I buy it. But
they keep adding stuff.
I know, but that maybe now that I think about this, you don't want me to buy this because I may kill it. I may kill the game. So, but yeah,
I haven't even tried the mechs yet.
I do like the mechs. I do. It's just from an outside perspective, not playing it, but looking at the videos and looking at the discussion of it, it does seem like it's a ton of fun. Like that. That's the one thing that always gets me with these. And it sounds like the company that is putting this out, whose name escapes me right now, they are doing a hell of a job in working with the community, and not only in terms of like communicating stuff to because I know they had server issues quite a bit just because it became way more popular than I think they were expecting. And I also love that. I love when a studio that clearly hasn't really had a big hit just gets something massive and it's just them scrambling, but you can tell can tell that they're enjoying the fact that they have to scramble. It's not like, I'm sure there's a lot of sleep lost over there, but it's also like this is a good problem to have, and I think that there's got to be something validating about having that kind of I would love it if people complained about not being able to get stuff that I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a best problem you can have.
Exactly.
Releasing a game, really.
Exactly.
So the thing, how you said about the persistent universe and stuff, like the way that the game master is pushing the galactic war.
Isn't his name like Joel or something like that? I want to say.
Yeah, they released the guy's name and now everybody's blaming him for everything and saying
Joel,
damn you movie.
I hope there's no actual Joel. I hope there's an actual person, but it's I hope there's but he's really a pastiche of 4 or 5 different people. And yeah.
I had not realized that was an aspect of the game. I had just started playing and I wasn't really paying attention to. I thought it was just window dressing where your ship comes in and it just, you fall down to the planet.
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
Yeah. So I wasn't paying attention at first. Then you realize that in the matchmaking aspect, you have people coming onto your ship and then their ship is meeting your ship and actually traveling to the planet that you're dropping down to. And you can see it in the atmosphere, and the weapons that you call down actually come from that direction in space, shooting lasers down to the planet. Yeah. I had no idea that was really happening. Then people were talking about it. I'm like, oh my God, I do see that right there. And it was just something I didn't notice. And then no way did I think that somebody was planning out the actual movements of enemy troops from planet to planet. I didn't know how they were doing it, but I didn't think that they were putting that much thought into it. And it makes it more fun. It makes it right now on social media, they'll say, okay, everyone, we must do this and attack this or defend this planet. And then everybody kind of gets online to do it. And that kind of shared mission, is there's something just infectious about it. And that's one of my favorite aspects so far now.
Absolutely. You don't get the shared community much in very many games, especially from a social media standpoint. So it's in a weird way, you kind of feel like a collective, even though you guys have never talked or never, so it definitely feels like you're part of something. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that you talk to your friends about it. You talk they have the whole memes with, the creek and defend against the, the automatons and things like that. And it's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. And I feel like a lot of games miss the mark on fun nowadays, and Helldivers did not miss it at all.
Very pure fun. That's how I describe it to people. It's just moment-to-moment gameplay is really fun.
I'm going to make a weird analogy here, but anyone that's listening to the show should be prepared for this anyway. McDonald's is never going to do a spicy sandwich, which out of context is an insane thing to say on a video game show. But my point is that when you're number one, you don't experiment, you don't do weird stuff. Burger King is going to have the weirdest crap you're ever going to find. They're doing candied bacon now. They're doing all sorts of crazy. They're doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And so and you see that kind of phenomenon all over the place, where it's you're seeing these companies that, like I said, don't have a hit or aren't as successful as these huge studios able to because there isn't that pressure. Because, you know, kind of going back to what we were talking about with Anthem and Andromeda, those games failed in part, in a big part, because of essentially corporate meddling and the fact that they had to, and even going back to like Mass Effect 3, where you saw that kind of input of these games need to do these kind of numbers, or they need to be able to generate a certain amount of profit, and so we're going to change the gameplay in order to make it more profitable at the expense of the game or expense of the story or whatever. But then you've got something like Helldivers where it's like, I don't think a AAA studio would do this. They wouldn't devote the kind of resources that it would take to have a persistent universe that is being controlled by one person with, from what it sounds like, kind of carte blanche. He can do whatever he wants. And like, there's no, I don't know, there isn't like microtransactions or anything like that. I know they've kind of talked about that, but I don't think, is that, am I?
There's cosmetics.
There's cosmetics. Okay.
Yeah. But you can find some of those credits on the planets if you're playing enough too, which I will say, but it's very minor stuff. Nothing that really impacts anything or even looks that different than the stuff you get already unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have the opportunity if you spend money, like their battle pass is free, but then they have a premium version that has like other items that you can unlock. You still have to play the game, you still have to earn them, but you have more options. And even then, they made it where you're not going to be super overpowered just because you spent money. Like there's weapon variants, but they're all like pretty comparable to like what you can get in the free tier, and then the battle pass never expires. Yeah, exactly. So I want to spend money on the game now to reward the developer. It's Arrowhead Game Studios, and you bring up a good point. Like, there's a lot of gameplay decisions, a lot of design decisions that they make that if you gave it to any other like studio that's like just out to make money, they wouldn't make it where the game was pushing back on you as much. They probably make a lot of design decisions that were just their vision and stuck to it. And that's kind of how they operate. They had a specific thing in mind and went for it. So yeah, some risks there for this type of game.
Definitely, you're definitely not getting a game like this from EA. Definitely not.
You're definitely not getting this game. I fully expect there to be a co-op PvE game from EA very shortly.
A lot more packs to open. A lot more
exactly. But yes, Helldivers is definitely one of those where I want to. I'm going to get into it at some point, but it'll be like I said, shortly before it completely collapses on itself.
Definitely play with a group. Definitely a group. This is a game I'd recommend. Just even like turn your matchmaking on. Even if you're introverted, turn it on and play with people. It's definitely a game you don't want to play by yourself, I would say. It's definitely one you can, but you're gonna have more fun and more funny moments.
What I would love, and this is just me being selfish, but like I would love there to be a mode of this game where you are the guys back on the ship. Like I don't want to necessarily play. You know, I mean, I love the run and gun and I love that stuff, but like I want to be the logistics guy. I want to be the one that has
the commander.
I want to be the well. It's not even not even the commander, but like I want to do stuff. I love games where there are multiple like separate games and they all kind of interact with each other. I would love there to be a game where you are the orbital. Bombers
awesome.
And things like that.
God.
Like that would be super fun to do. And
that's a good idea, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it would be.
Sounds fucking.
I can't imagine. Amazing. I can't imagine how hard that would be to coordinate. But
it'd be hard and it's risky, so the big companies would never try it.
Exactly. Exactly. But I mean, they sort of did that. What was the? Wasn't there one of the Call of Duties where they added like a lot of planes and things like that? And it was the World War I one. That might not have been Call of Duty.
I know Battlefield.
Was it Battlefield?
A lot of like we tried and
yeah. Like I'm always that guy in those games. So like I was the guy that just point me toward a warthog and I'll be fine. I'll be like, find me the game that's not the game we're supposed to be playing, and that's the one I want to do. And that's why no one plays with me with these things.
A good idea. It's a good idea.
Thank you. Thank you for encouraging my insanity here. I also do we want to talk, Tony, about Final Fantasy VII?
So
because you're doing some other stuff on the website for Final Fantasy VII, if memory serves.
So really quick, it's just Final Fantasy. What's the new one called? Rebirth. I can't play yet because I'm playing Remake. So I held off thinking that Final Fantasy VII Remake was going to come to Xbox. I was holding hope that I wouldn't have to play on PC, and I just couldn't wait any longer. I had to jump in. It's actually playable on Steam Deck as well, so it's something that I've been chipping away at before bed and just getting into it. So Final Fantasy VII Remake. Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games of all time, and seeing like the fully realized world, it's really impressive what they were able to do from what they started with, and then making like the detailed streets of Midgar and all the little nuances of like, well, here's how their vehicles look, and here's how their streets are laid out, and here's how, every little thing in the world would look like. There's a little cafe in the corner, and it's all like within that art style, and they've definitely taken the source material and fully realized it for an area that you're not in for very long at all. Like, you can't keep moving from area to area in the early game, and then it's like, it's just wild how much that they put into it, and I am enjoying it quite a bit. I hope to be able to get through the game and play Rebirth, because I hear amazing things about that as well. So playable on Steam Deck. I mean, not the best experience in the world, but you can play it and have a decent time. Frame rate gets a bit choppy. There's dynamic resolution making things a little bit fuzzy, but it's playable. So I'm enjoying it.
I'm looking forward. I've already played, so I won't talk too much on it because obviously I don't want to get into anything. I would love to talk to you about it after you played it, though, at some point, because I have my thoughts on it. But it's an amazing game.
Rebirth yet?
I have not played Rebirth. I'm kind of waiting for a PC version because I do have a PlayStation, but I would love to have an excuse to stream it. To give me an excuse to take away some of my competitive games to actually play, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to wait. Because like you, Final Fantasy VII is like, oh man, that's like my early, was that before high school? I can't remember. That was a lot of my childhood nostalgia. That's what got me into any sort of role-playing games. So seeing it realized, the 3D, man, is almost like, it almost brought a tear to my eye. I see some of these characters and it was so weird, like a weird nostalgia childhood thing for me, but I absolutely adored it. And I am super looking forward to playing Rebirth, and it pains me that I haven't even played it yet. So I am looking forward.
It's hot right now. It's a hot game. It's got such high acclaim from all the people in the Megadads Discord that are playing it. Like, they have a little hype chat going on. Join the Megadads Discord if you're not a member. It's really cool. Everybody hanging out, talking about the game. It's infectious. The FOMO is killing me.
There's so many. I need to just suck it up and play my PlayStation. There's so many games on PlayStation right now I haven't touched, whether it's the God of War or Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy 16. I need to just start knocking games out. Not be impatient or too many. I want to play them on computer because that's what I game on, but it's like, so it takes a bit of time to get them over to PC.
I'm in the same boat where it's like, there's so much. I still haven't played Ragnarok, or not Ragnarok, the DLC, the free. Whatever.
Okay.
What is it called? Is it Valhalla?
I don't remember the DLC.
Yeah. Whatever the DLC is.
And then we have Elden Ring DLC coming up. There's so much I gotta play. Like, there's so much.
Yeah. God help me. I'm weakening. I'm weakening on the Elden.
Valhalla.
It is Valhalla. Okay. I'm weakening on the Elden Ring stuff. There's so much, like, because of that DLC coming out soon. I've been seeing more and more of that on social media. And I love the design of Elden Ring. Like, I love the character design. I love all of the visual aspects of it, and it looks like the kind of crazy fantasy stuff that I love. And I'm so afeared of the hardness. The hardness.
It's a learning curve.
The hardness scares me. And so, but it's like I feel like I might need to finally buckle down and do it. But
I don't play any of the hard games before Elden Ring. Like I dabbled in like Dark Souls and in Bloodborne and stuff, and I was not good at them. But with Elden Ring, I'll tell anybody you can do it, and if you invest your stats the right way in the early game and take it slow, you'll get that itch of that all these like people like from these games where you get that rush of accomplishment. So there is a method. I keep trying to tell my brother and other people, I'm like, I can give you like 5 pointers that'll get you up to speed where it won't be as intimidating. And if you do this and you approach it kind of like a big adventure, you'll really love it. And so yeah, I would try it if I were you. Just take it slow.
I know, and it's not like
in some stats.
It's not like I'm worried about that part of it, but I know I've talked about this on the show before, but it's like there's so much and so much talked about in that game, where now I peer pressure myself. I am my own worst bully. I am my own worst bully, and it's like, oh, why am I not doing this, or why did I not hit every wall in this area so that I can find the one little secret room that explains this part of the story and all this nonsense.
I think with Elden Ring, though, you want to do that stuff, and I think that's one of the great things about it is because it's almost so fantastical and it doesn't hold your hand that you kind of want to explore everything. That's kind of the fun thing with it.
See, Matt, you're new to this show. I hate the things that I want to do. That's the problem.
Oh,
I shame myself for wanting things.
He's a tortured soul.
I really am. I really am. So, Matt, let's talk about you. Let's talk about the stream. You mentioned that you've been doing a lot of like Rocket League, and you do more of the sports stuff in the streaming. Like, what is your deal? Because you're a dad, and you've got to squeeze in your streaming while also neglecting your children.
It definitely makes it a little bit tougher because most of my stream, I just added a couple of days. Most of the time I'm doing it after they're in bed and stuff. So it's more so me neglecting a little bit of my sleep, which is totally healthy. I recommend it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But it's definitely, I'm more of I say sports guy, but it's Rocket League. I will stand by that. Rocket League is the best sports game ever made, gameplay-wise. That thing emulates it, so that's a big it's eliminated me big of anybody EA. Doesn't go to EA anymore because of Rocket League. Unfortunately, without insulting Epic too much, they bought it and they haven't done much with it besides trying to make money off it. But the player base is still huge just because of the gameplay itself, even with very little updates. So I won't bore it too much because if you're not into sports, I would not recommend Rocket League. But that's my main thing on stream. But I do other games here and there for like Sunhaven. I play one night a week with my wife on Sundays because it gives me a nice change of pace. So even if people don't want to watch it, they can suck it up. But yeah, I pretty much play everything though. I play strategy games, I play XCOM, I play roguelikes, I love Hades, so I just love video games. I grew up playing every single type of video game. One of my favorite video games of all time is still a very old video game called Star Control 2. So pretty much I just love talking video games and playing them. So even if you don't like Rocket League, come talk because I talk about video games all the time. That's what I would say.
I'm going to change my answer from the big question and
yeah,
I think Star Control 2 needs to get remastered. There we go.
Oh, it's so good. It is such a good.
I haven't played it in decades at this point, but it is.
They have like a fan, the Urquan Masters, like a fan remaster. Totally worth it if I've never done that.
I know, I've heard of that, but I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet.
They even have all the 3DO voice version and everything in it. I think that's maybe why I like Mass Effect so much because Mass Effect reminded me of Star Control,
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Absolutely. And so
what's my favorite game?
What's your schedule? Like are you on a regular day or is it more just like I've got some time?
Yeah, I am. My schedule is Wednesday through Sunday. I start at 7 p.m. Central Time, my time, and then I go to about midnight. I've actually cut to a little bit earlier hours. Those are my earlier hours because I used to be staying up way too late. So I need a little bit more sleep to function with. I'm a dad of 3 to function with my everyday life. But yeah, so Wednesday through Sunday nights. Is kind of my time. Sometimes day change, but those are a little bit more sporadic. And it's MinnesotaMat everywhere. I figured that was easy enough to remember.
Sleep-deprived Rocket League could be fun to watch, though.
It depends how much you. It depends how much you like sports, but you can get conversations nonetheless. And I'm extra bad because I tend to talk more than I actually play games half the time.
Yeah.
So I just followed so I could catch the streams. Am I right here in looking at these videos? Are you good at Rocket League? Because it's looking like you're good.
Yeah, actually, I mean, good in the sense because I compare myself to other people, right? I'm in the top 1% of players easily, like from like a ranking standpoint. So I think, but I'm still there's so many players better than me. It's one of those I'm not very good at taking compliments. I'm compared to most people, yes, I'm good at it. We'll put it that way.
That is impressive. That is super impressive.
And I'll take it for not having as much time to practice as much as some of the kids or younger people do.
All right, here we go. Here's your question. What would you rather have? Sunhaven content in Rocket League or Rocket League content in Sunhaven?
I would rather have any content in Rocket League because it gets ignored way too much. That
would be funny. Like the first content drop in Rocket League in years, and it's this indie farming game.
Oh no, they trust me. They try to charge you $20 for stuff there. But the thing with Rocket League players is they don't really care what their cars look like because they just want to play the sports aspect.
Sure. That's awesome. Tony, what are you
they
up
got
to?
Lightning McQueen in there not that long ago.
Yeah. Tony, what are you up to on the site?
So we're trying to do some short and sweet conversations on Mega Dads called Question Block, where I just it's kind of like what we do over here on Checkpoint. So just kind of get into the news of the day a bit, try to go deeper than the headlines, and just have some great conversations with guests. We've had some Mega Dads on, I've had some buddies on, so just stay tuned to Mega Dads. We're going all in on the YouTube channel. We just like to have fun. You know how it is, Evan. We like to create some fun videos, discuss. The Discord's growing and growing, which is great, and we have a lot of people in there. So you want to find us on Discord, subscribe to the YouTube, just get involved, have some fun with us, because a bunch of fun-loving people over there, Mega Dads. So,
and I keep meaning to be on Question Block, but just for some reason the scheduling never quite works out. But we'll make it happen.
We're busy. We're getting calls. I'll have my people call your people.
Please. They need something to do because no one's calling them, sadly. So just give them something to do. They're unemployed too. So again, you can check out MinnesotaMat, and again with 1T on Twitch. And you can always check out Tony's stuff on. Do we want to talk about the Fallout stuff now, or do we want to? Or has that been announced yet?
You know what? No. But
okay, I'll edit around this.
As you know, no, it's okay. As you know, the Fallout TV show is coming out on Amazon Prime Video or whatever they call it, and they're going to be releasing the episodes all at once. So it's going to be a little bit hard to keep up with, but we plan on getting some Mega Dads together to talk about the episodes, to recap and review them, to just share our thoughts. And it's going to be pretty huge. I know a lot of people are Fallout fans out there, and the show actually looks pretty good. First trailer didn't make waves, but the second one looked way better than I thought it was going to be. So it's starting in April, the show, so you could expect, I hope, discussion episodes, review discussion videos to go up right around that same week or the week after. So tune in for a little mini series on the Fallout TV show on Amazon Video.
I was positively ambivalent about the show. Like I'm gonna watch this, but I wasn't like super jonesing for it until I found out that Matt Berry is gonna be Mr. Handy. So like now I have to watch
for real.
This. Yeah.
Wow.
Like I think it just came out like today or yesterday that he's gonna be in there. So I will watch Matt Berry do anything, even if it's just his voice. But that's just my own stuff. But yes, I'm very excited for this as well. I'm a huge Fallout fan. In fact, it's making me want to replay. I played that bejesus out of 4, and about a 2/3 bejesus out of the third one. But I've only played through New Vegas once, and it sounds like they pull a lot of. I know, and I really enjoyed New Vegas, but it's just for some reason I just never went back to it. But between it sounds like they're pulling in not only stuff from like the original Fallout 1 and 2, because I know Shady Sands showed up in in the trailer, but they're pulling stuff from New Vegas as well. So it's like I may like replay through New Vegas again, just and also because my potato of a computer can actually run it, which is nice.
Nice.
Well, thank you guys always for listening. Again, MinnesotaMat on Twitch, Hypercaster on megadads.org, and we will leave you with what should we leave them with? Should we do? I don't want to say a musical number because that's putting you guys on the spot a little bit.
Jazz scatting. I don't even know how to jazz scat.
I don't even know either.
How about we just go? We can just
All right, yeah,
we can
let's
just
just go.
leave.
All right. All right. No.
That works.
We'll leave you waiting.
Megadad's Checkpoint is powered by Pants and part of megadads.org, which still hasn't fired me for some reason. And I'm so afeared of the hardness.